I married him because I believed love was enough. When we first met, he was kind, calm, and respectful. He spoke softly and listened carefully. He promised me a simple life filled with peace. I trusted his words without doubt. My family was happy with my choice, and everyone said I was lucky. I felt safe when I stood beside him, even though I did not know everything about him yet. After our wedding, we moved into a small home. It was not big, but it felt warm. I tried to be a good wife. I woke up early, cooked meals, and waited for him every evening. I believed marriage meant patience, sacrifice, and understanding. At first, everything felt normal. We talked, laughed, and planned our future together. I dreamed of growing old with him. Slowly, small changes began to appear. He came home late more often. His phone was always in his hand. When I asked simple questions, he answered with short words. I told myself he was tired from work. I did not want to doubt him. I believed trust was the strongest part of marriage. Sometimes I felt lonely even when he was near. We sat in the same room, but our silence felt heavy. I tried to talk, but he seemed distant. Still, I stayed quiet. I believed good wives do not complain. I reminded myself that marriage is not always easy. One night, I waited for him for hours. Dinner became cold. When he finally arrived, he did not explain. He did not apologize. He simply went to sleep. I sat alone and felt something break inside me. But I still hoped things would improve. That I told myself love needs time. I believed patience would fix everything. I chose hope over fear. I chose silence over questions. I did not know that this silence would soon become my biggest regret. As days passed, his distance grew stronger. He smiled less and spoke even less. His phone never left his side. If it rang, he walked away. If I entered the room, he changed the screen quickly. My heart felt uneasy, but my mind kept making excuses. One afternoon, he forgot his phone at home. It rang again and again. I stared at it for a long time. I did not want to touch it, but fear pushed me forward. When I looked at the screen, I saw messages filled with affection. Words he never used with me anymore were written there. My hands shook. My chest felt tight. I read enough to understand the truth. He was emotionally connected to someone else. There was no physical detail, but the betrayal was clear. He shared his thoughts, his time, and his care with another person. When he returned home, I asked him calmly. He did not deny it. He said it meant nothing. He said I was overreacting. His words hurt more than the truth. He did not see my pain. He did not feel guilty. That night, I cried silently. I remembered our promises. I remembered trusting him completely. I asked myself where I went wrong. I blamed myself for being too quiet, too patient, too forgiving. That I wanted answers, but he avoided every conversation. He acted like nothing happened. He expected me to forget. I realized then that betrayal does not always come with loud arguments. Sometimes it comes with cold silence. I felt trapped between love and self-respect. I was married, but I felt alone. The man I trusted was no longer the same. The home I believed in no longer felt safe. That was the moment I understood something important. Regret does not come suddenly. It grows slowly, fed by broken trust and ignored pain. After discovering the truth, everything changed inside me. I smiled less. I spoke less. My heart carried a heavy weight every day. I continued my duties, but my soul felt tired. I lived beside him, yet I felt invisible. That I tried to fix things. I tried to talk kindly. I tried to understand his reasons. But he remained distant. He said I was too emotional. He said I should move on. His words made me feel small. That night, I lay awake thinking about my life. I asked myself if this was the marriage I dreamed of. I remembered the girl I once was, full of hope and confidence. I wondered where she disappeared. I was afraid to speak to others. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of being blamed. So I stayed silent. Silence became my daily companion. Some days I wanted to leave. Other days I wanted to stay and fight. My heart was divided. Love pulled me back, but pain pushed me away. I felt guilty for thinking about myself. That I realized that emotional betrayal leaves deep scars. There were no visible wounds, but the pain was real. Trust was broken, and without trust, love felt empty. I started writing my thoughts in a notebook. It helped me understand my feelings. I learned that my pain mattered. I learned that patience should not mean accepting disrespect. Slowly, I began to see the truth clearly. Love without honesty is not love. Marriage without respect is only a title. I was married, but I was not valued. That understanding gave me strength even though it hurt. One morning, I looked at myself and felt something new. It was not anger. It was clarity. I realized that regret was not about marrying him. It was about losing myself while trying to save the marriage alone. I understood that love should bring peace, not constant pain. I understood that silence should not be forced. I deserved honesty, respect, and emotional safety. That I spoke to him one last time. I shared my feelings calmly. I did not accuse. I did not beg. He listened, but his eyes showed no change. That was my answer. I chose myself that day. Not because I stopped loving him, but because I started loving myself. I learned that staying in pain does not prove loyalty. Sometimes leaving is an act of courage. Regret taught me a powerful lesson. Marriage is not only about staying together. It is about growing together. When only one person tries, the bond slowly breaks. I walked away with tears, but also with dignity. I carried scars, but I also carried wisdom. I promised myself never to ignore my feelings again. Today, I share my story so others can learn. Love should never make you feel invisible. Trust should never feel heavy. And regret should lead to growth, not shame. I married him, but now I regret losing myself. And that regret became my strength.